We'd like to say, like the way the jumper's designed with the wave on it, we like to bring our Gold Coast spirit down here and wherever we travel interstate. And I just think the inner belief in the boys, but we're slowly but surely the boys are playing longer patches of good football, and it was just that never say die attitude. And I think that the fella that won the medal in the end, Michael Riscatelli, probably summed it up. I mean, he got crunched, mind you, it was friendly fire by Carmichael in the first quarter. Hurt himself pretty badly, but true to his form and his character, he pulled the socks up and went on to play the game he played. And I think the rest of his teammates took a leaf out of his book. It was certainly made mention of, that's for sure.
How does that rate for you guys, a coach? I mean, you've been there as a player at grand finals, premierships and whatnot, but personally, what does that do for you?
It just sort of, ticks the box, but it just knows we're moving in the right direction. Again, we were able to play, I wouldn't say the whole game was some great football by the Gold Coast, that's for sure, but we just played, I would think, a bit more better football than we did even last week. And, this, as it turns out this week, whether we're playing Port, whether we're playing away, playing in this situation, it just gave us a chance to win. As it turned out, it was a win. Against other sides, would we have won today? I'm not too sure. But the thing was, and the pleasing thing was the boys spent another game out there playing alongside one another, and they're able to play the footy they wanted to play, and today we got a win.
But personally, is it more fulfilling as a coach for you than some of the wins that you had as a player? Or?
I haven't really stopped to think about that, to be honest. I've got a job to do to develop these boys, make them grow into good footballers and good people, and that's my job. Obviously, ultimately, the club and the side gets judged by wins and losses, but it's about these boys developing and growing. And today, they stood up and they won a game of footy, which is fantastic. But again, next week against the Bombers, we all start from scratch, and it's going to be another massive game again.
What did you say to them at three-quarter time? Did you go on the old proverbial thing, you can win this game, or did you just focus on what you had to do?
Yeah, we just spoke about, when we're in the contest, and we actually give ourselves a better than even chance of winning it today. Our numbers were showing that. The contested footy, we'd won that for most of the day, but again, when Port gained ascendancy, they were winning it. And we were conscious of those numbers. And as I said to them, if they start rolling numbers back, our scouts and Shane O'Brien was telling us that they'll probably do that. So we had to go man on man so we could force a contest, and that was one of the pleasing things. So we got that contest. We're a better than even chance of winning it. And when we did that, the ball kept going forward. I thought our stoppage stuff and clearances all day were fantastic. They stuck to their guns and ground out the win. It was a really pleasing effort for the players.
What does it do to the young blokes? I mean, you've always just been marking them on their development and hitting the targets that you've set, but a win's a win, especially if you've never had one.
Good question, Hamo. And I reckon it sums up, and again, internally we look at someone like Brandon Matera, who went for a couple of efforts last week that weren't in his usual attack on the footy. And then today he sets up Luke Russell's goal, for example, because he went hard at the contest. He actually didn't win it, but he went hard at the contest, two hands on the ball. It flicks free to Lukey Russell, and he ends up scoring a goal. So the message goes straight out to Fish. So, mate, you're a very quick learner. I know you're Western Australian, but you're a very quick learner. But that's the difference. And so that's the step in his growth and development. And so his next step now is to replicate that. I know he's just done it in this game, but now he's got to do it next week against Essendon, and then the week after, and he's got to keep doing it. And then, again, that's how we measure the growth. Now, again, if everyone individually is doing that, and then collectively we get, or individually we get better, collectively we get better as well.
Is this more than just 4 premiership points? Because a win for the club so also means can influence membership, sponsorships, and so on. So, how do you see it overall? Is it a great day for the club?
Oh, I think it's fantastic. It's to prove to our supporters, and very much outnumbered today, that they can see the growth, they can see the development in the players. So I have no doubt it's great for the football club. But as I said, we got to dust ourselves off. Our wounds, tend to the injured and the sore boys out there, and get ready for next week. It happens real quick, this game. It's fairly brutal, but yeah, I think it's a great fillip for the football club. And again, on the field it's fantastic for the players, but off the field I have no doubt it's a great shot in the arm for them.
Can you give us a line on Jared Brennan? We've all seen the gloss that he can produce, but he just played a great game of footy today.
Yeah, he did, and that could be him, because again, the system he's come out of a very mature side. I know Brisbane obviously cut their list back and they've got some younger kids over the last couple of years, but invariably he's been around senior players. Well, he's one of 8 uncontracted players. I think he's one of 13 players over the age of 22. So he looks around and he goes, well, I've got to lead by example here. So I'm not going to have put the icing on the cake, so to speak. I've got to roll up my sleeves and get my hands dirty. And I think there's one effort for him that stands out for me, and it wasn't a possession. You will never see it on a stat sheet, but he ran from the back of the centre circle when he saw, Ebert running into their forward 50. They had possession of the ball, and he ran probably in the end 90-odd metres just to cover him. And the ball wasn't kicked, but the reason it didn't get kicked to Ebert was because Jared had made that 90-metre effort. And as I said to him, you can have your marks, you can have your goals, but that effort to us, it means a lot to us as a coaching group. But for all your teammates that saw that, and all the young teammates that saw that, said, if Jared Brennan can do that, I then must have to do it. And I said that was one of the pleasing things out of Jared's game today, for sure.
Was that the great unknown for you, having not spent a lot of time with him, not knowing whether he was capable of that? Because
yeah, well,
yeah,
exactly, and whether he's known as the X factor and all those sorts of things, and we wanted the X, Y, and Z thrown in as well. We wanted to see that part of him, and as I said, I've been really happy. I mean, you almost put the line through the first game for everyone against Carlton, but since then his consistency has been really good, and as I said, I think his consistency in his defensive efforts, like that one today, his estimations are exactly what we thought of him.
Goy, you touched on leadership with Brennan, and you obviously required that from some of the younger players as well. Charlie Dixon seemed to do some really defining things for the side up forward. What can you say about his contribution in the leadership stage?
Yeah, well, he's been a young leader. He's obviously 200 centimetres, so it's not as though he's a shrinking violet. So he stands out, and he has done since 18s to VFL last year, where pretty much we said he was our focal point up in attack. And again, this year, when you look around, we haven't recruited experienced forwards. So he's been the one now. We've been able to throw Josh Fraser down there to cut him a bit of slack. But yeah, as I said, he stands 200 centimetres, and yeah, throughout the game, he's led and shown some experience through his body and his voice. So he's a young kid, but still we've got to look after him. But we expect a lot of him. And I said we understand too that not always he's going to deliver. But again, today it wasn't the flashy things by Charlie. It was the rolling up your sleeves and getting your hand stuff.
How do you go about looking after those younger players when you've got so many of them?
Well, they generally get rested, and we've got to throw another young kid into the breach. We don't have too many senior players, but that's the nature of the beast. We know that, and in time, Charlie will have a rest, and fingers crossed. And from what I can hear, Sam Day has played a great game in the seconds for us, so we'll give another kid an opportunity to come in and play for us. And as I said, based on today, I'm sure those young kids that have missed out will be very keen to come in and play for the side.
So you're going to rest someone as part of your rotation from a winning side? That's a hard call.
Oh, we have to. It's not the win. It's the body. We've got to get them through a season. And as I said, our list is young. But yeah, there'll be boys that will be rested, win, lose or draw, mate. We just have to do it because it's a season we have to get them through. I want Charlie Dixon to play. Most on average, I think if the numbers tell me, correct me if I'm wrong, I reckon it's on average 12 games they average, the kids, when they first come in. So that's the number, that's history telling us. So we probably think we're going to have to eke that out to maybe 14 or 15, we know, but that's it. Charlie's playing 14 to 15. Touch wood, he doesn't get injured, but he's going to have to come off and have a spell at some stage for sure. But we have to do that.
You've had a lot of goals kicked against you every time this year. You must have been pleased with the way you ran out the game today.
Yeah, and look, that's it's a bit of the beatings you might be copping as well. I wouldn't think our group throws the towel in, but physically they just can't go and spread. But again, it's the nature of the game today. The boys got their tails up, they got their hands on it, they were excited, they could smell maybe their first victory, so that drove them and probably pushed them beyond the point of exhaustion. And that happens in games of footy. But yeah, you look at the boys after the song, mind you, most of them were reaching for oxygen masks. They were about to pass out, I reckon. But yeah, that was good. It was pleasing. And again, it's easy for me now as coach to say, well, that's it, we can't expect that ever again. Well, I know it's going to happen again, that's for sure.